Joining me and Rob for our second segment, as usual, we have a creative loafing representative, and tonight it's Alex Pickett. Woohoo!
Alex, thank you for joining us. I got to tell you, the folks out there, what we need to start doing, you need to start requesting, emailing TampaBaysMediaTalk.com, Janet and Rob, and tell how many people out there want us to start webcasting the commercial breaks behind the scene, because that's actually really funny, guys. I got to tell you, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again.
You know, you've done everything. You've been fighting with shooters in Mexico and writing about red ants. Why don't you talk about the cover story and then your urbex this week?
The cover story is about an independent journalist.
Sure.
One of these type citizen journalists kind of guys that went to Mexico with
That's
a
not
lot
a song. I went to Mexico.
I think it is, and he got shot.
Dead shot.
Dead.
Not like wounded shot.
Exactly. He died. So the cover story is kind of a little overview of why he went down there, what happened, and he was supposedly shot by soldiers of the Mexican government.
But the kind of different thing about it is he filmed himself and who his shooters were, and they're still at large. So,
correct.
Do you think that he was playing off on the fact that you have to be dead in order to be famous at this whole thing, and he's really alive, and he actually videotaped something?
Like the whole Tupac thing?
This would be killer, wouldn't it? Come on, it's like an Elvis thing. Watch, he's going to come back, and we're all going to be blown away that he really didn't die.
But you know what means
it was all a big Hollywood thing.
What means more to us is the red ant story, because everybody in Florida has red ants. Well, how did you decide to do that, and tell us about the story?
Well, it's a profile of Dr. Debbie Castle. She was actually a Best of the Bay winner a few years ago for Best Professor, and I'm in constant contact with the USF, and she came out with a study recently that fire ants play dead sometimes when they're fighting each other. And the interesting thing about that is they are the only other species of animal to play dead against their own kind besides humans. So we share that little thing.
Not possums?
No, because possums will do it, but for a different species, but they won't do it to their own kind.
Oh, get out of here! How cool is that?
And of course, humans.
But they there's more and more red fire ants every day, and yet I'm killing 85,000 of them daily. So how is that possible?
Well, so after I learned about that, I contacted the doctor, and she took me out on a little adventure to hunt some fire ants and bring them back to her lab. And what she does is she fights them.
Well, hold on a second.
You hunted fire ants?
How hard was it hunting for fire ants?
Have you been bitten by fire ants? I mean,
but
these
what
are
did you
hundreds
put
Are
them
you
in?
kidding me? I get bit by on a regular. I'm a fire ant snack in my house, in my yard, everything.
Did you have Dixie cups that you put a little aluminum on top with holes in the top?
No, big buckets. We went in and stuck a shovel in, scooped up mostly a whole mound.
Right.
And then dropped it in a bucket.
And how fast did they run up the shovel and all that stuff?
They flooded out.
Fast.
Yeah, Dr. Castle got bit more than I did.
How many times? Because fire ants hurt worse than bee bites.
And they last a long time. The bite lasts a long time.
How many bites did you get?
I only got one, and she only got 4 or 5 because she's been doing this.
But
she puts a baby powder around the edge of the bucket so they
splits.
can't. Right, so you just have to do it kind of fast. I mean, it's an art. Definitely.
An art. Okay, so you hunted some fire ants.
Right. And
did you bring anything home to eat?
Well, what Dr. Castle does is she's like the Michael Vick of fire ants. She fights them and videotapes it. And
I love it.
But she doesn't gamble on, of course, and she's not very. She actually
doesn't body slam them herself.
Exactly, she doesn't drown them. She actually freezes them to kill them when she's done.
Is that more humane?
Apparently, she says.
But I want to hear. So then, what happened? Did they?
Well, some it depends on the colonies, because there's two. You got to read the story. It's really in depth. There's 2 different kinds of fire ants. There's a cooperative fire ant and an aggressive fire ant. And the aggressives will fight the cooperatives, and they're 10 aggressive fire ants can kill 200 cooperative fire ants within 24 hours.
That's Janet. Janet's aggressive fire ant. I'm in a cooperative sort of fire ant.
And all of this plays into why the fire ant population is growing in Florida, because people are ending up killing the aggressive fire ants, which keep their own populations in check. But the cooperative fire ants allow many different kinds of queens and have more fire ants in an area. So you kill off the aggressive.
But how would we know who the aggressive was and who?
Smaller nests or smaller mounds.
Exactly. That's like one of the only ways.
Unless you scoop them up and.
Yeah, but you need to have 2. You need to have 2 to compare from, though. You would need to have 2 of them to compare from. I think it's a great story. Everybody needs to pick up their creative loafing to read it. And Alex, your urbexes are getting better and better.
Is there any more? Hold on a second. They're obscure as hell, and I love that. Tell us what are you hunting, pardon the pun, for your stories down the road? Anything you can give us a little snippet on? Something?
There is coming up soon, there is a certain diner in Tampa Bay area, I won't say which, which the owner has just changed genders. And it's kind of like the Steve Stanton story, only with a diner owner who's also a cook. It's kind of a really heartfelt
I can't wait to hear that.
A journey, because that's a very public
right.
way to do it, just like the city manager, but this isn't somebody that's trained. So
did you go and did you videotape the surgery or something like that, or you've been hanging out with him for?
Tell us what's going on C&Do's this weekend, Alex, please.
Like, that's what he does. He goes and hangs out. I didn't know if you like hung out for like 3 weeks with this person or what.
Yeah, I hung out for a good amount of time, but
he didn't videotape the surgery.
Yeah. Oh, he hasn't, or she hasn't.
She hasn't. Yes.
She's going to a he.
No, he's going to a she.
He's going to a she. Okay, well, so he.
Alex, what's going on this weekend? Thank you. Thank you.
The Dunedin Fine Arts Center has 3 different art programs coming up. They're coming from now until October or December. Artist as Inventor, which is using all these different robots and kind of crazy art like that. History of the Dot, which uses a lot of polyester, rubber, that sort of thing to make these different sculptural creations.
History of the Dot?
History of the Dot, that's what it's called.
But it's not, but it's not an actual dot.
Right. It's not several dots. It's more interesting than that. And then we have Dada-Do, which is kind of a youth artist program that is using 1920s Dadaist art, and they're kind of recreating it. So a lot of interesting stuff in Dunedin, so you got to run up there. And then, of course, this weekend we have the AIDS Walk on Saturday in St. Pete, North Shore Park, and go out and represent.
And something else that Alex is forgetting to mention is it's the first game of the season, 4:15 against Seattle Seahawks on television. You need to watch it.
Oh, the Buccaneers.
Yeah, so it's going to be crazy down
there.
There's a lot of stuff going on down there.
Yeah, you don't realize how Dunedin Main Street and all that whole area of Dunedin, it's a little hidden gem out there, isn't it?
It
really stuff happening out there.
It's a nice little walkable area.
You got to get your creative loafing to find out what's going on down there, because a lot of those things are hidden.
But they wouldn't mention the Buccaneers game.
Well, why?
Alex, thank you very much for coming. It's always a pleasure having you. And again, Rob keeps saying how much he is so enthralled with your urban explorers. He looks forward to them every week. So
watch out for those ants.
Oh, I will. I'm going to go check them out at my house. I'm going to look for the size of the